The rotary engine. Many love it, many hate it, but this weird little Dorito engine is surrounded by a ton of myths. People call it an unreliable and underpowered toy. But is any of that really true? Or are we just recycling myths that don't hold up when we dig a little deeper? It's time for the Rotary Mythbusters team to bust 7 myths about the rotary engine. Let's see if the haters are hating, the myths hold up, or if they are just as real as a BMW owner who uses their turn signals. Let's kick it off with a classic. Rotaries have no racing history. It's surprising how many people aren't aware of the racing legacy of the rotary engine. People hear rotary and think it's just some quirky little engine Mazda made as an experiment with no success on the track. But for my fellow car guys who haven't heard of it, let me show you a little rocket launcher from the 90s, the Mazda 787B. I don't know about you, but that gave me chills down the spine. In 1991, Mazda's rotary-powered 787B took home the win at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the biggest endurance race in the world. Not only did it win, it was the first and only non-piston engine to ever do it. And guess what? That car wasn't even the start of it. When Mazda first got into racing in the 60s, they didn't come in half-heartedly. The RX-3 and RX-7 showed that a rotary belongs on the track. They didn't just compete in small-time events, they were winning championships and taking podiums in competitive touring car series worldwide. They were known for their reliability and ability to keep up with and often beat piston-powered cars. The RX-7 in particular became a legend, cementing its place in history with wins in the IMSA GTU category in the US and at events like the Spa 24 Hours in Europe. So let's just say the rotary is a little bit more than a fun experiment. It's got wins to its name, and who knows what else it could have achieved if it had been allowed longer in racing. Endurance racing, touring cars, rallying, drag strips, you name it, the rotary's been there. Myth busted.
So much torque.
Now let's talk torque, or apparently the lack of it. Rotary engines have no torque. Okay, we'll admit they're not exactly torque monsters. If you're used to a big block V8, the rotary might feel a little gentle off the line. But here's the thing, it's not supposed to be a low-end torque king. Rotaries are all about high RPMs. They're designed to scream up top, not rumble down low. So while it won't snap your neck off the line, it'll keep pulling and pulling right up to the red line. The beauty of a rotary is that smooth, linear power curve. It's more like a jet engine than a muscle car. Rotary engines have short strokes compared to piston engines, so they're built to generate power at higher RPMs rather than delivering low-end grunt. This makes rotaries incredibly fun to drive, but it also means you won't get that push you back in your seat torque at low speeds. Instead, it's a steady build, begging you to keep the revs high and enjoy the unique experience of a rotary's peak power. And for those who really want more low-end torque, adding a turbo can help bridge that gap. Bottom line, if you want neck-snapping torque, get a diesel truck. But if you want an engine that loves to rev and rewards you for keeping it high in the RPMs, the rotary's got you covered. No torque? Not exactly, just a different kind of torque curve. All girls are the same. Oh, my bad. All rotaries are the same. This one's for the people who think every rotary is just a 13B with a different name slapped on it. Not even close. There might not be as many types of rotary engines as piston engines, but Mazda made a whole lineup, each with its own personality, quirks, and features. For starters, there's the 10A, the 13B, 20B, R26B, and the Renesis from the RX-8. The 13B is a classic twin rotor found in cars like the RX-7. The R26B, that's a 4-rotor powerhouse, giving you more power and, let's be real, an exhaust note that sounds like it's tearing a hole in the universe. Then you've got the Renesis, which was Mazda's attempt to clean up emissions and improve fuel economy. Different rotaries, different goals, different results. Each engine was built for a different purpose. The 10A was a simple, compact design Mazda used in the 60s to establish itself in the rotary world. It evolved into the 13B, which became famous for its high power-to-weight ratio and adaptability. Then came the 20B, a powerhouse aimed at bringing the rotary's performance to a whole new level with an extra rotor for increased power output. The Renesis, on the other hand, was designed for efficiency and environmental considerations, showing that Mazda could adapt the rotary concept to meet modern standards. So just because all rotaries have rotors doesn't mean they're all the same. The people who can't see the difference think racist means people who race and they want to be just like that. Myth busted. Alright, here's one that even some rotary fans buy into. Rotaries aren't good for daily driving. And look, I get it. Rotaries are, let's call them high maintenance. They burn a bit of oil, they're not thrilled with low RPMs, and yeah, you might be checking that oil level more often than you would in a Camry. But saying they're bad for daily driving, that's going a bit far. Plenty of people daily drive RX-8s and RX-7s. The secret is knowing what the engine needs. Keep it well oiled, warm it up properly, and it will treat you just fine. It's like owning a classic sports car, a little extra attention, and it's a joy to drive every day. The trick with a Rotary is understanding its quirks. Yes, it needs more oil, and yes, you have to be careful about warming it up properly to avoid flooding. But once you've got those basics down, it's no different from any other engine. A Rotary can handle stop and go traffic, long highway cruises, and daily commutes as long as you give it the care it needs. In fact, many Rotary owners swear by the unique experience of driving their RX-7s or RX-8s every day, saying it adds a sense of character and engagement to even the simplest drives. If you're willing to put in that extra effort, the Rotary will turn a boring daily routine into a fun experience. Sure, it's not a gas and go engine, but for anyone who actually likes cars, the Rotary's quirks are part of the charm. And let's be real, if you're watching this, you're probably not here for something boring. Myth definitely busted. The Rotary engine is just a gimmick. This one cracks me up. Some people think Mazda picked the Rotary because it looks cool or sounds funky, as if it's just a marketing trick to stand out. But here's the truth. The Rotary engine is an incredible feat of engineering with real advantages over a piston engine. Advantages that you just can't replicate with traditional designs. For one, Rotaries are small, light, and have way fewer moving parts. A Rotary engine doesn't need camshafts, connecting rods, or valves, all things that add weight and complexity to a piston engine. Instead of pistons going up and down, you've got that triangular rotor spinning smoothly, creating power in a continuous cycle, which allows Rotaries to reach insane RPMs and deliver super smooth power, making them ideal for sports cars. The Rotary's unique design gives it certain advantages that piston engines can't match. For example, because it lacks the reciprocating motion of pistons, there's far less vibration, which means smoother power delivery, especially at high speeds. This constant, seamless power curve feels more like a turbine engine than a traditional one. Plus, its compact design makes it much easier to package under the hood. Mazda took full advantage of this by creating small, lightweight sports cars with impressive power-to-weight ratios that would be challenging to achieve with a traditional engine layout. So no, it's not a gimmick, it's an alternative way of doing things, with benefits that make it not only fun but also effective. The Rotary may not be for everyone, but calling it a gimmick completely misses the point. Another myth busted. Here's a fun one. The Rotary engine is a Mazda thing. Well, this isn't so hard to uncover. A few photos of the NSU and Chevy's concept plans can settle that, but there's actually much to talk about. NSU, a German company, was actually the first to mass produce a Rotary-powered car with the Ro 80 in the late 60s. Then there's Citroën, which put a Rotary in the GS Beirotor. Even Chevy played around with the idea in the 70s, designing a Rotary-powered Corvette concept. Spoiler, it didn't make it to production, but hey, they tried. And although the Wankel Rotary engine has had little to no success apart from Mazda's, the Rotary engine is a different thing. The term Rotary engine covers any engine that produces rotational motion in a continuous circle without the linear up and down motion found in piston engines. For example, there's the lesser-known Rotary vane engine, which takes a different spin. Literally. Instead of a triangular rotor, this design uses vanes attached to a central shaft inside an oval chamber. Enthusiasts believe it could solve some of Wankel's issues with fuel efficiency and emissions, and even pose a threat to the piston engine. So, Mazda's the only one who stuck with it long term, but other companies saw the potential too. If things had gone a bit differently, who knows? We might be seeing Rotary-powered Chevys on the road today. Another one busted. And now, the granddaddy of all Rotary myths. Rotaries are unreliable. This one has been haunting the Rotary's reputation for years. People hear Rotary and instantly picture blown apex seals, disappearing oil, and engines needing rebuilds every 50,000 miles. But is it really that bad? Suit up, we're diving deep into this myth. Rotaries are a bit high maintenance, no doubt about it. To keep a Rotary engine running smoothly, you need to pay closer attention to it than you would with most piston engines. First off, rotary engines consume oil by design. Unlike a piston engine where oil consumption is generally considered a sign of wear, the rotary engine intentionally uses oil to lubricate the apex seals. This means rotary owners have to check and top up their oil frequently, often every few hundred miles. Neglecting this small but crucial step can significantly shorten the engine's lifespan. Add to this the need for precise warm-up and cool-down routines. These habits can help prevent flooding issues and reduce wear on seals. Another reason rotaries get a reputation for being high maintenance is their sensitivity to poor tuning. Rotaries run hotter than piston engines, and they don't have the same margin for error. A lean air-fuel mixture or engine knocking can quickly damage the rotary, especially the fragile apex seals. This is why aftermarket mods or poor tuning can spell disaster if not done right. In short, a rotary engine can be reliable, but it doesn't tolerate neglect or carelessness. It's a high-maintenance engine because it requires an owner who understands its unique needs and is willing to give it the extra attention it deserves. Treat it right, and it will treat you right and reward you with years of high-revving joy. So, is it as low maintenance as a Corolla? No, but does that mean it's unreliable? Not entirely. Myth busted. And that's it. 7 myths about the rotary busted wide open.